With our first season with Mjällby in the bag, we have retained our place in the Swedish Premier Division. Season 2 or Season 12 of this Building a Nation save has to be more of the same, and I realistically think Europe has to be the target, which sounds ridiculous. A team that were not even in this division a season ago, and we are now looking to hopefully qualify for a European competition for our third season in charge. And we've got £21,000 to do it with. We have spent some of our wages and our transfer budget, and by some, all of it. In fact, we've spent more of our wages than we realistically should have done, but we've brought in some good players already on the 1st of February. We have gone to Chile, and we have signed 2 players from U Española, and that is Humberto Riveros, the 22-year-old Chilean under-20 international, can play left wing, right wing, or as a striker. Coming in on a free transfer, he is one for the future. I think he should, I think he should be good enough to play for us, but I was hoping he would be better. 2-star current ability is not good enough. And the other player that we have signed is Hamlet Lecourt, who is a 22-year-old under-23 international from Chile, signed from the same team, Española. And I don't know whether we needed to do this, but the plan here was this buys us an option to sell our best goalkeeper because we now have a replacement made. It might not work out because we might end up having 2 first-choice goalkeepers in the squad, but we've done it. We've made that decision. And we've also spent £185,000 on a Danish under-21 international in the shape of Nicholas Olsen, signed from Landskrona, and I think he's just good. I brought him in because of versatility. He can play as that defensive midfielder, but he can also play as a centre-back as well. He has cost us all of our money. We've also managed to sell this man on a free transfer. Speaking of free transfers as well, I don't think there's anyone really of interest. Philip Ljungberg has left on a free. Ismail has left. Philip Poulsen has left. Reece Lally has also left. And Diego Lagos have all left on free transfers. I think for the most part, they were all out on loan last year. So looking at the competitions, there's this strange competition in the middle called Money. Now, I had a plan, and that was to basically make money by kind of not cheating. It's not cheating, it's gaming the game, okay? We set up a tournament with a bunch of good teams from across Europe and made it a league. And basically the way you can make money from this is when Standard play CSKA Sofia, we get all the ticket prices for that. And what stupid thing happened, I don't know why, all of the matches were televised, so we got a bit of money for that. But if we look at our finances, so I think we have to look at income for last month, we managed to pick up TV revenue of 156,000 for a fictional competition, gate receipts as well of nearly 200,000, and that is basically money that we would not have got. Last season, we did not get any money for this competition because it did not exist. We picked up £1.5 million through TV revenue for everything else. We're now going to get just a little bit more, which I think is helpful. Anyway, what we've got to do then, we've got to jump forward to around the end of March. The transfer window will have closed. We will have hopefully done some more transfer business. I'm not quite sure how. I'm going to have to kind of channel my inner Harry Redknapp and see whether we can get ourselves some bargains. But we're going to try our best to get some new players into the club. And we have managed to do that. 3 new players have joined. We've got rid of a few players as well. Ali Nielsen is one of them. He's gone for the most amount of money that we managed to get, which is £18,250. And Fisnik Nilsson has left to go to Christian Sand, and he's gone for not a lot, £1,600. Joining the club then is a Brazilian called Juliano Raff, who is very, very good, 19 years of age. He's going to obviously be a defensive midfielder. Probably going to have to lock this guy in because I feel like he's not going to play there unless we tell them to, because he's not natural as a defensive midfielder, but he's coming on a free transfer. Theo Bergvall has also joined on a free transfer as well. He was formerly playing for Toronto FC. He is the brother, by the way, of Lucas Bergvall, who is still playing for Helsingborg at the moment. So we brought him in on a free transfer, partially because he's Swedish, but also he's a fullback, and we need fullbacks. And finally, for £2,400, we have signed Axel Hjulmarsson, who is a 25-year-old Swedish centre-back signed from Norby. He's come in for depth, basically. There's also a bunch of loan deals that have gone on. So Fan the Hung has gone out on loan. Alessandro Nilsson, who is one of our many goalkeepers, he's gone out on loan to Stockholm. We've got Antonio Mbar. He's carried on his life of constantly going out on loan to teams. He's absolutely rubbish. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. And then a whole bunch of other players going out on loan deals. But nobody really of interest. So looking at the squad, sorting by role, we've got 3 goalkeepers. Star Wars doesn't have a contract. I'm tempted to not bother offering him one, because he's not going to go anywhere until somebody comes in for him. And if he's not getting any game time, why would anybody want to come in for him at all? I think looking at the roles that we've got a good spread. We've probably got slightly too many defensive midfielders. What was that? 6 defensive midfielders. But maybe that could come in handy because we will have that depth available for us. Juliano Raf will be the only player locked into the starting 11 because basically, like I said, if we don't do that, if we do this pick without restrictions, best 11, Raf isn't there. He's sat on the suspension position number 6. So we need to make sure that he is locked in for at least the first half of the season. And despite the fact that we finished 6th place last year, we are predicted to now finish 15th place. You would have thought they would have learned. Like, just maybe stick it a little bit higher. Who are our best 2 players that they recommend for this season? It's Ake Anderson and Frolkin, which, fair enough, they are pretty good footballers, aren't they? Helsingborg, obviously our former team, are predicted to win the league. I didn't check this, actually, and I feel like I should have done. I didn't check. So, this was obviously our last season in charge, and we finished there. How far did they get in the Europa League? So, 2 more league phases. They then beat Sporting, but then lost to Sporting. Okay, so, right, fair enough. They didn't do so well because they got knocked out, but still, they managed to get through. Fair enough. So, on the 29th of March then, we've got no transfer budget. We are well over our wage budget now, £6,000 a week over our wage budget, but the window has slammed shut. We now need to focus on winning some games. Oh yeah, and we almost got to the Swedish Cup final. We got knocked out in the semi-final against Gothenburg. It would have been Helsingborg, Mjällby in the final if we managed to do that. So my one former team and current team, but unfortunately Gothenburg were the team to step in the way. I have a sneaking suspicion we could be good enough to win the Swedish Cup at some point. All it takes is a bit of luck, and we could win it. Let's go forward to the midway point of the season and see how well things have gone on. I'd like to be top half. It's looking a little bit better than top half. We are in 5th place in the league. We're ahead of Helsingborg, who should be top of the table by a fair distance. We are 5th place in the table. 7 wins, just 1 draw, 4 defeats, positive goal difference. We're just 2 points behind Malmo. If we win 1 more game and they lose a game, we could be up into 2nd place. Djurgården's currently running away with it, but that's fair enough. I'm not really focusing on trying to win the league at the moment, but the fact that we are not too far away from 2nd place is filling me with a lot of confidence. Obviously, being the 7th of July, the transfer window is open. I'm not really convinced we can do too much. We're going to have to just go forward and see if there is anything we can do. I feel like if anyone's coming in, they're going to be on a free transfer, and we're probably going to have to sell some players to basically kind of fund. It's the wages right now. We are well over our wage budget. That's the problem. Let's go forward and find out. 3 players have left the club then on permanent deals. Finley Neat, first up, returning back to Scotland, signing for Queen's Park. He was basically getting paid too much money. We've not really made any money from this. We've got £6,500 possibly, but we are paying some of Finley Neat's wages until the end of his Mjällby contract, which is probably going to cost us about £6,000. So this is literally a free transfer, but he's off the books. Similar situation as well is at Theo Carlson, the Thai international who we signed in Season 1. He's moved over to Maccabi Haifa in Israel. He was playing, but he was getting paid too much money. He wasn't really playing enough. Yes, we have taken a massive loss on this, but it's possibly going to be £80,000 for Carlson. So I'm okay with it, and it's money off of the wage bill. And this was a tactical decision, okay? I'm fully aware. Building a nation, want to keep our best Swedish footballers. However, Philip Hansen, I feel like we should be playing the Chilean goalkeeper. I feel like he's a better goalkeeper. Hansen has been moved on to Djurgårdens, and he's gone for 450,000, possibly going to 525, which has meant we have had to do a bit more reinvesting. We've signed Jörgen Lundqvist, 22-year-old goalkeeper. He is literally never going to kick a ball for us, and if he does, something's gone horrendously wrong, but we needed a third-choice keeper. This one, I was very, very happy with. Daniel Ibrahim as a player I was actually keeping an eye on at Helsingborg when he was playing for Remo Stars, and I couldn't just get the deal over the line. His contract expired, and we picked him up on a free transfer. 22-year-old Nigerian international, obviously defence midfielder is where we're going to be playing him. I'm very happy with this. This is the type of player that we will sell in 2 or 3 years' time, make a massive profit, but he's going to help us out financially going forward. And a similar thing I expect from Yuri Galamba, who is a Portuguese centre-back signed from Amora for £115,000. And they wanted to sell him, and I don't know why, because he's very, very good. He's worth £800 to £1.8 million. I think he's probably our best. I'm going to play as a centre-back. I think he's our best centre-back that we've got in the club. I'm very, very happy with this signing. I think the business we've done over the summer, considering we had no money, I think we've done quite well. Yes, selling Hansen might have been a big risk, but I think it's a sensible risk to take. And just looking at the squad and the starting 11, we are locking in 2 players. So Galamba will be locked in as a centre-back because I feel like if we don't, they might play him as a defensive midfielder. And we're going to keep Raf as well locked in as that defensive midfielder. And just to put the cherry on top of the cake, we have moved up to 4th place in the table now. 37 points on the board. We are, 8 points behind league leaders to Gardens. But we've got one game in hand. We don't. Malmo, Bromos, Pakana and Landskrona have 1 game in hand over us. So maybe this 4th place is not really kind of genuine, but the fact that we're still up there is very, very good to see. Obviously, we've got to go forward now to the end of the season to see how well we've managed to finish. If we can get European football, that would be amazing for Season 3. What does this mean? We finished 5th, but we haven't got any confirmation of Europe. What does that mean? The fact that we finished 5th, great, amazing, love it. I feel like the Swedish Cup that has just kicked off will decide whether that is going to be a Europa Conference League position or whether the winner of the Swedish Cup will be in the Europa Conference League. So we have to kind of hope that one of these 4 teams or us win the Swedish Cup next season, I think. It might not be. That might not be the case at all, but I think that might be what we have to expect. And the fact that we managed to lose the final game of the season 2-1 to Landskrona, if we won that game, what would that have meant? So we would have been on 57 points. We would have actually finished in 3rd. If we won that final game, we would have finished in 3rd. Admittedly, the team that finished in 2nd were the team that beat us. But that is so close to being in the Europa League. I have also just realised we've actually finished higher than Helsingborg. How have we managed to do that? I mean, they're the best team in the league. They've got the best players. We kind of know this because we bought them all. But we've managed to beat them in the league table. Also, the top goal scorer is Juan Francisco, a player that I signed for Helsingborg and went, we're probably not going to play him enough, and sold him on a free transfer to Kalmar. And he is just, last 2 seasons, he's got 30 goals across 2 seasons. And he's decided to be Swedish. Amazing. Final thing I want to check then. So, club coefficients, we are 10th. We are 10th at the moment. We could be going higher as well. That is a big, big score from last season. Obviously, we weren't involved in European competitions. What does it mean in 10th place? So 10th place, we get a team directly in the Champions League. We also get a team directly in, I believe, the Europa League. Yeah, so a team goes straight into the Europa League there. If we go higher, I mean, arguably, is this the one? I mean, arguably 6th is where you want to be. 2 teams straight into the Champions League would be amazing. But 6th or 7th, we are not. I don't think we're too far away from that. Obviously, we don't really have a say at the moment. But the fact that we are still slowly climbing up the coefficients. Can we actually see? How do we find? Let's find the Champions League. I feel like we haven't won anything. Like, I'm not expecting to see like somebody from Sweden to win any of these competitions. But you never know. We can live and dream. Yeah, none of them at all. So the closest, I say the closest we've got, it's not the closest we've got at all. We can have a look. So in the Champions League, we've got a Swedish team there, BK Häcken. They've won once against Dinamo and lost 3 times, which is not ideal. So obviously this is this season's. Anything else? So Europa League, we've got Gothenburg, who won once, drawn once. This is not looking like a good season. Not looking like a good season at all. However, Europa Conference League comes in clutch, and we've got Landskrona with 2 wins and a draw. We've got Helsingborg with 2 wins and a draw, and also down the bottom here, Hammarby with 2 draws and a defeat. So, I mean, they're contributing. The 2 draws help, I guess. So, season 2 with this Mjällby side has meant we might be in Europe. We might be in Europe, but I'm not quite sure, because I think we need to find out what happens next season in the Swedish Cup to determine who actually is in Europe. Next season, we could be in Europe. Financially, what have we got? We've got 1.1 million in the bank. We've got 1.1 million in the bank and a transfer budget of £825,000, £70,000 a week wage budget. That is literally like £20,000 a week more than what we are currently spending or committed. Yeah, currently spending. Committed spending is even £10,000 less than that. Next season could be interesting. This transfer window could be a good one because we might be in a position to buy lots and lots of cheap players who will definitely strengthen our side. And then for season 3 with Mjällby, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but do we think we can start to try and charge for the title? Is that a possibility? It's probably too soon, but we could be in a position to actually start challenging the top of the table, which is good because we need money. And in order to get money, we need to win things. And to win things and get money means we can then update our facilities, which right now, they're not accepting anything, basically. We're just kind of stuck with what we've got.